looking forward to a White Sox Nationals.
Chicago! Yeah.
White Sox are still in first place. Wait, I gotta admit, you guys are looking a little better right now. You guys are looking very good. Couple of people I want to acknowledge. I want to thank, first of all, your former outstanding governor and your current outstanding senator, Mark Warner. I also want to thank your congressman, Jerry Connolly. And I want to thank all of you for being here. Although I got to admit, on a day like today, this is not a bad place to be. Got a nice little breeze going. It feels good. Now, I love you back. Now, unless
Can you take us
unless your cable has been broken for a while, you may be aware there's an election going on. You know, I was told a story by my campaign manager. He was meeting with some folks, and there was a young couple there with a young son, maybe 3 or 4 years old, and the parents were really proud that he knew who I was. And they explained to my campaign manager, they said, listen, he loves Barack Obama. And they turned to the little boy and they said, well, what does Barack Obama do? And the little boy says, Barack Obama approves this message. So you know it's election season. That's what I do. I approve this message. And that's because in the coming weeks, you've got a very big choice to make. This is not a choice between two candidates or two parties. This is a choice between two different paths for America, two fundamentally different visions of our future.
Can you sing a little song?
My opponents are big believers in top-down economics. Don't move, vote.
That's right.
If we just spend another $5 trillion on tax cuts that favor the wealthiest 2% of Americans, all our problems are going to be solved. Jobs and prosperity will rain down from the sky.
That's a lie.
Deficits will magically disappear. We will all live happily ever after.
That's a lie.
There's only one problem. We tried that scheme during the last decade.
5 years ago.
It didn't work.
No.
Top-down economics don't work.
No.
This country doesn't succeed when only the rich are getting richer.
That's right.
We succeed when folks at the top are doing well, but also when the middle class is doing well.
That's right.
When more people have a chance to get ahead and live up to their God-given potential. I don't believe we can get very far with leaders who write off half the nation as a bunch of victims.
That's right. That's right.
Who think that they're not interested in taking responsibility for their own lives. I don't see a lot of victims in this crowd today.
Not at all.
I see hard-working Virginians.
That's right.
Some of you may be students trying to work your way through. Some of you may be single moms like my mom.
That's right.
Working overtime to see if you can provide a better life for your kids. Some of you may be senior citizens who've been saving your whole life for your retirement. Some of you may be veterans who serve this country, brave soldiers who defend our freedom today. Nobody believes that anyone's entitled to success in this country.
That's right.
We don't don't believe the government should be helping people who refuse to help themselves.
That's right.
But we do believe in something called opportunity.
That's right.
We believe in a country where hard work pays off.
That's right.
Where responsibility is rewarded.
That's
where
right.
everybody gets a fair shot. And everybody's doing their fair share. And everybody plays by the same rules.
That's
the country we believe in. That's what I believe in. That's why I'm running for secretary. Not necessarily going to be quick or easy. Because the truth is, it's going to take more than a few years to solve challenges that built up over decades. But I can tell you this, Virginia, this is America. Our problems can be solved and our challenges can be met. We've got the best workers in the world. We've got the best business people and entrepreneurs in the world. We've got the best scientists and researchers in the world. We've got the best colleges and universities in the world. There's not a country on earth that wouldn't trade places with the United States of America. So the path I'm offering may be harder, but it leads to a better place. I'm offering a practical, 5-point plan to create jobs and grow the middle class.
Thank you.
And rebuild the economy on a stronger foundation. So let me break it down in case you guys missed the convention.
Break it down. Break it down.
Just in case you only saw Michelle.
Yeah. That's right.
Number one, I want to export more products and outsource fewer jobs. When my opponent said we should let Detroit go bankrupt, we came together to reinvent a dying auto industry that's back on top of the world. In the last 2.5 years, we've created more than 500,000 new manufacturing jobs in this country. So now you have a choice. We can build on that progress, or we can do what the other folks want to do and give more tax breaks to companies that ship jobs overseas.
No.
We can continue to see outsourcing, or we can do some insourcing and reward companies that open new plants and train new workers and create new jobs right here in the United States of America. I want to help big factories and small businesses double their exports. We can create 1 million new manufacturing jobs in the next 4 years. We can make that happen. But I'm going to need your help.
Gotta vote.
Number two, I want us to control more of our own energy.
Yeah. You can do that.
After 30 years of inaction, we raised fuel standards so that by the middle of the next decade, your cars and trucks will go twice as far on a gallon of gas. We doubled the amount of renewable energy we generate from sources like wind and solar. Thousands of Americans have jobs today building wind turbines and long-lasting batteries. Today, the United States of America is less dependent on foreign oil than any time in nearly 2 decades. So now you've got a choice. You can do what Mr. Romney wants to do and reverse all that progress, or we can build on it. I'm not going to let oil companies write this country's energy plan. I don't want them to keep collecting another $4 billion in corporate welfare from our taxpayers. We've got a better plan where we keep investing in wind and solar and clean coal technology. And farmers and scientists harness new biofuels to power our cars and our trucks. Where we're putting more construction workers back to work, retrofitting homes and factories so they waste less energy. We can develop nearly 100-year supply of natural gas that's right beneath our feet. And my plan would cut our oil imports in half by 2020 and support more than 600,000 new jobs in natural gas alone. And I'm going to need your help to make it happen. Number three, I want to give more Americans the chance to learn the skills they need to compete.
That's right.
Now, Senator Warner said it well. We've got to invest in our workforce.
Yeah.
And education was the gateway of opportunity for me. It was the gateway of opportunity for Michelle. It's the gateway of opportunity for many of you. It's the gateway to a middle-class life. And we've already been working on this. So millions of students are right now paying less for college because we took on a system that was wasting billions of dollars in taxpayer money to banks and lenders. We said, let's give it directly to students. But now you've got a choice. The other side, they want a gut education.
Yes, they
Pay
do.
for more tax breaks for the wealth. I think that's the wrong way to go. I think we can decide that in the United States of America, no child should have her dream deferred because of an overcrowded classroom. No family should have to set aside a college acceptance letter because they didn't have the money.
That's right.
No company should have to look for workers in China because they couldn't find ones with the right skills right here in Virginia.
That's what I'm talking about.
So I'm asking you to help me recruit 100,000 math and science teachers in the next 10 years. Improve early childhood education. Let's give 2 million workers a chance to learn skills at community colleges for jobs that are hiring right now.
That's right.
And let's work with colleges and universities to cut the growth of tuition costs because we don't want our young people loaded up with debt. We want them to be able to get the education they need to compete in the 21st century. That's the path we have to choose together. That's what we're fighting for. Fourth, we've got to reduce our deficit.
Yeah, we do.
And I put forward a plan that independent experts have looked at the numbers. It cuts the deficit by $4 trillion without sticking it to the middle class. Now, I've already worked with the Republicans to cut $1 trillion in spending. And I'm willing to do more. I want to reform our tax code so it's simpler and fairer. But the only way we're going to reduce the deficit is also to ask wealthiest households to pay higher taxes on incomes over $250,000. To go back to the same rate we had when Bill Clinton was president, our economy created nearly 23 million new jobs, we went from deficit to surplus, and we created a whole lot of millionaires to boot. And understand the reason why I want to do this is because that's how an economy grows.
Yeah, that's how it grows.
You know, if we keep taxes low for middle class families, if you've got a little more money in your pocket, what do? You spend it. Maybe you buy that new computer for your kid. Maybe you finally trade in that 10-year-old car you got. And that means that business now has more customers. And they're making more profits, which means they hire more workers. Everybody does better when we're growing together. Now, my opponent, he's got a plan too. But as President Clinton pointed out, there's no math in it. It's missing arithmetic. They say the biggest priority, we got to reduce our deficit. You see their ads. Oh, we got to reduce our deficit. And then the first thing they want to do is spend trillions of dollars on new tax breaks for the wealthy.
Yeah.
And when you ask them, well, how does that work? They can't explain it. They won't say how they paid for $5 trillion in new tax cuts without raising taxes on middle-class families. They want to spend another $2 trillion on new military spending that our military says we don't need. The reason they can't explain it is because the math doesn't work. And I tell you what, I want you to be clear, Virginia. I want to work with Republicans to reduce our deficit. No, I don't want continued gridlock on Capitol Hill, but I'm not ashamed to say I will refuse to ask middle-class families to give up their deductions for owning a home or raising kids just so millionaires get another tax cut. I refuse to ask students to pay more for college, or kick children off the Head Start program, or eliminate health insurance for millions of Americans, including the poor and the elderly and the disabled, just to pay for more tax cuts that we can't afford. And I promise you, I will refuse to turn Medicare into a voucher. Americans who have worked hard shouldn't have to spend their golden years at the mercy of insurance companies. They should retire with the care and the dignity they have earned. So we'll reform and strengthen Medicare for the long haul, but we'll do it by reducing the cost of health care, not by dumping those costs on the seniors. Just like we'll keep the promise of Social Security, but we'll not be slashing benefits or turning it over to Wall Street like some have proposed. That's the wrong way to go. Now, Virginia, I've talked about what we need to do here at home, but it's connected to what we do abroad.
Yeah.
4 years ago, I promised to end the war in Iraq, and I did. I said we'd wind down the war in Afghanistan, and we are.
Yeah.
33,000 more troops have now left Afghanistan. Meanwhile, a new tower is rising above the New York skyline. Al-Qaeda is on the path to defeat Osama bin Laden is dead. But as we saw last week, we still face serious threats in the world.
Yes, we do.
We have to make sure that not only our military, but also our diplomats overseas are protected. We got to go after anybody who harms Americans overseas.
That's right.
And as long as I'm Commander-in-Chief, we will sustain the strongest military the world has ever known. And when our troops come home and take off their uniform, we will serve them as well as they've served us.
That's right.
Because nobody who's fought for us would have to fight for a job or a roof over their heads when they come. And my opponent's got a different idea. He says it was tragic to end the war in Iraq.
Can I step down one more, please?
Still won't tell us how he'd end the war in Afghanistan.
There you go. Thank you.
I have and I will. And I'll use the money we're no longer spending on war to pay down our debt and put more folks to work back here in the United States. Roadways, broadband lines, schools. After a decade of war, it's time to do some nation building right here at home. So that's the choice we now face. This is what the election comes down to. Now, over and over, we've been told by the other side that the bigger tax cuts, fewer regulations are the only way to go. That since government can't do everything, it should do almost nothing. Their basic attitude is you're on your own.
That's crazy.
You can't afford health insurance, hope you don't get sick. Some plant is releasing pollution into the air that your children breathe, well, that's the price of progress. You can't afford to go to college, just borrow some money from your parents. I've got a different vision. I don't think that's who we are. I don't think that's what this country's about. We don't think government can solve all our problems. But we don't think government's the source of all our problems either. We don't think anybody is the source of all our problems. Not welfare recipients, not corporations, not unions, not immigrants, not gays. Not all the other groups that we're told to blame for our troubles. Because we believe that here in America, we're all in it together.
That's right.
We believe America only works when we accept responsibility for ourselves, but also certain responsibilities for each other and for our country. We create a country that's filled with more opportunity and possibility than any other nation on earth. We understand that America is not what can be done for us, but what can be done by us together.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
And that's what the campaign was about 4 years ago. I'll say it again. It was not about me. It was about you.
That's right.
You were the change. You were the reason a mother from Leesburg doesn't have to worry about her son being denied medical coverage due to his heart condition. You made that happen. You're the reason a veteran in Virginia Beach can go to college on the new GI Bill.
That's right. Yes.
You're the reason a middle-class family here in Virginia got a tax cut. Money they're using to buy groceries and put gas in the car. Maybe pay off some hospital bills when their daughter was born. That's because of you.
It's because of you.
You're the reason the young immigrant who grew up here and pledged allegiance to our flag is no longer going to be deported from the only country she's ever known. You're the reason why an outstanding soldier won't be kicked out of our military just because of who he loves. You're the reason why families all across this country can welcome home loved ones who served us so bravely.
We love
Give them that
you.
hug. Know they're back and safe. You're the reason. That's how change happened. Now, yesterday, I made this same point at a town hall in Florida. I said one thing I've learned is that you can't change Washington just from the inside. You change it from the outside. You change it because people are mobilized.
That's right.
You change it with the help of ordinary Americans who are willing to make their voices heard because the decency and the goodness and the common sense of Americans, that's what moves the country forward.
Yeah. Forward! Forward! Forward!
Now, for some reason, my opponent got really excited. He wrote a speech real quick. He stood up at a rally, proudly declared, I'll get the job done from the inside.
That's crazy.
What kind of inside job is he talking about? Is it the job of rubber stamping the top down? You're on your own agenda of this Republican Congress?
No!
Because if it is, we don't want it.
That's right. Send
If
it
it's the
back.
job of letting oil companies run our energy policy, we don't want it.
We don't want it.
If it's
Stay
the job
on
of
the inside.
outsourcers running our tax code, we don't want it. If it's the job of letting politicians decide who you can marry or control the health care choices that women should be able to make for themselves. We don't want an inside job in Washington.
We don't want it.
We want change in Washington. And from the day we began this campaign, we've always said that change takes more than one term or even one president. And it certainly takes more than one party.
4 more years.
It can't happen if you write off half the nation before you even took office.
That's right.
In 2008, 47% of the country didn't vote for me.
I
So on the night
did.
of the election, I said to all those Americans, I may not have won your vote, but I hear your voices, I need your help, and I will be your president. And for everybody who's watching, or anybody here who's still undecided, I don't know how many people are going to vote for me this time around.
I am. You got my
I'm
vote.
telling the American people, I will be fighting for you no matter what. I will be your president no matter what. I'm not fighting to create Democratic jobs or Republican jobs. I'm fighting to create American jobs. I'm not fighting to improve red state schools or blue state schools. I'm fighting to improve schools in the United States of America.
You got my
The
vote.
values we believe in don't just belong to workers or businesses. 53% or the 47%, the rich or the poor, the 1%, the 99%. These are American values. They belong to all of us. Virginia, I still believe we're not as divided as our politics suggests.
We're
I
not.
still believe we've got more
We're united.
I believe in you. I still believe in your capacity
We
to help
believe in
me bring
you.
about change.
Yes.
And I'm asking you to keep believing in me.
I believe in you.
I'm asking for your vote